So now we are going to talk about the two compounds which are like there in the chapter, and we have to study only two compounds. One is ethanol and the other is ethanoic acid, right? First of all, we'll pick ethanol. So as you can see, eth means there will be two carbons. So my ethanol becomes C2H5OH. So this OH group indicates that it's an alcohol. The functional group is alcohol, and hence it is a member of alcohol series, homologous series. Second member of the homologous series is there. It's basically it is liquid at room temperature, right? This is liquid at room temperature. Ethanol it is commonly called as alcohol. Okay, when we talk about alcohol so we mean ethanol. So common name is alcohol. Common name of this compound is, or we can say it is better known as alcohol. And along with that, it's a very, you can say, the main ingredient of all the alcoholic drinks. As such, because ethanol is itself a very good universe, like it's not the universal solvent, it's a water, but yes, it's a very good solvent if we talk about the kind of solubility it has. It tends to dissolve so many solutes in it, so it gives us that added advantage. Okay. Now, it is soluble in water also. It is miscible in water in any proportion. You can take in any proportion, it is soluble. But what happens if you consume even the dilute quantity, if you just consume a very small quantities of alcohols, even then the state of drunkenness comes, right? Now, still it is there. Now, what happens? Some people, or would say ki some person, they are like used to consuming pure form of ethanol, which is also known as absolute alcohol. Okay, when there is no water present in the solution of ethanol then we call it to be as the absolute ethanol, right? But this is lethal. Okay, so obviously we know, we have studied in biology that consumption of ethanol on long term, obviously it hampers your health, right? So it's not a good practice. We should avoid this, and we should educate people to stop consuming this. Now, the reactions, because obviously we are studying the compounds and that too under chemistry. So obviously we are more concerned about the chemical behavior of that particular compound. So first is the reactions I'm gonna take. First reaction, which is very important, is reaction with sodium. Okay, ethanol is quite reactive, and it reacts with sodium to form sodium ethanoate. Okay, ethoxide, sorry, not ethanoate, that is an ester, right? So write down the reaction. It will be sodium along with CH3, CH2OH, two molecules, and when they react, they are going to form sodium ethoxide. What does that mean? CH3, CH2O, and Na will be present over here. Okay, got it? Right? So this is your sodium ethoxide. So I have replaced this, and this will be liberated as hydrogen. And here my sodium just came up and got stuck over here, right? So this reaction is, the compound is sodium ethoxide. And you have to remember this, because sometimes in assertion reason cases, they ask this thing. So you should be aware of the formula which the reaction is going to give up, right? Now, alcohols, obviously, when they are reacting with sodium, now you can see it, they are evolving hydrogen gas. So this can be a test for alcohols. We can, we can be a little bit sure that the compound given is an alcohol. When it reacts with sodium, it is going to evolve hydrogen gas. And you can test the presence of hydrogen gas by bringing a burning splinter. It will burn with a pop sound, right? Now, the next reaction, okay, I'm gonna clear this thing. I don't think so. You have written. Take a screenshot. You can take that. That will be much better, right? Or because obviously, Mhm. Right. Basic, the chemical properties, they're very, very important. They are they comprise the most common questions which can be asked, especially the case studies or the three markers, right? Now, the next reaction is when they are made to react with concentrated hot and concentrated H2SO4, na, they are going to give me the alkene, or I can say the unsaturated hydrocarbon. See how it is going to happen. First of all, I'm going to pick ethanol, right? I made it to react in the presence of hot and concentrated H2SO4. Now, this hot and concentrated H2SO4, na, this is a very good drying agent, right? Very, very good drying agent, and it helps to remove a molecule of water from the compound. Now, what the result will be? First, a molecule of water will be there, and I'm gonna get alkene. So this is ethanol, and the product will be ethene, the respective. The number of carbon atoms remains the same. Now, if you want to just understand the thing, na, just have a look at that. This is my structural formula of ethanol. Now just see what is happening when I'm going to add hot and concentrated H2SO4. What happens? One OH of this and one H of this. They go move out and they'll form, obviously, one is hydroxyl ion and the other one is hydrogen ion. So they are going to form a molecule of water. Now see, there is a space being created here. This valency is empty for carbon, and here also it is empty. So what they are going to do, they are going to share with each other the emptied valencies, right? You remember I told you whenever you are going to frame up any carbon compound, now carbon has tetravalency. It will fill up its four valencies at one particular time. It doesn't have the four available partners, so it will form a double or triple bond with the carbon itself. Okay, here no other element was present, so carbon took help from the other carbon atom, forming a double bond. This is how this reaction is taking place, right? Now take the screenshot so that I can move on. Right? Done? Okay. See,
Yes.
alcohols now, they do affect living beings. Obviously, they see when ethanols are being consumed, ethanol is being consumed. So what happens? It slows down the metabolic processes, and naturally it tends to suppress the CNS, leading to a false implication that it actually soothes out. No, it is not. Actually, it is not soothing you out, but yes, there is lack of coordination, there is mental confusion. It is helping to lower down the work of cerebellum. So if you have seen someone who is under the influence of alcohol, you may observe that person to walk in a particular way of walking. That's called gait, right? It's an alcoholic gait. He'll just idhar udhar girte padte pahunch rahe hain, right? Because of the lack of coordination, right? So in the long term, obviously it is quite very harmful for our health. Now, similar is the case with the first member of this alcohol homologous series of alcohol, which is methanol. Though if you consume it in very small quantities, na, even then it is like so harmful that it may cause death, right? What happens? Methanol, when you consume that methanol, na, it gets oxidized to methanol, means alcohol is being oxidized into aldehyde. Okay, and that is like it will start reacting. The aldehyde, the methanol which is being formed, na, it starts reacting. It is what it does. It tries to harden the protoplasm which is found in the cell. So obviously and the major effect that methanol is going to cause is the effect on the optic nerve. It tends to cause blindness. See, just drinking a organic liquid and you are getting blind. That is the severest thing which you can, imagine to have. So ethanol, obviously, see, I don't say it is totally bad. Everything comes with some positive and some negative things, right? Ethanol is, I agree, it is harmful for our health, but yes, industrially it is very, very useful because I told you it's a very good solvent, right? Obviously, if in some industry ethanol is being used as a solvent, like if you're making some cough medication, so they have that alcohol. Up now, the workers who are working over there, they are going to misuse this thing. It will be present all over the industry, right? And nobody is going to keep an eye on them, whosoever is going to consume the thing. So what they do, they try to add some methanol in it so that it is not fit for drinking. Because I told you, methanol, when consumed in our body, it gets oxidized to form an aldehyde, which is methanol. Methanol is like trying to coagulate our protoplasm, and it tends to react and dishamper the optic nerve, right? So when ethanol is made impure by adding methanol, it is called denatured alcohol. Okay, denatured alcohol. It is ethanol plus methanol, a small amount of methanol. Okay, this question really comes, which nerve is being hampered when methanol is being consumed? It is optic nerve. Okay, remember this thing. Now, it is not like alcohols are bad only. They have various uses also. I can't say that. They are being used as fuel also. In some countries, they are going to use, because obviously they are like carbon compounds. When they undergo combustion, they are going to release CO2. They are going to give heat and light. Okay, so this was your ethanol. Now we are going to proceed on to ethanoic acid. Okay, so ethanoic acid is again a compound which belongs to a homologous series of carboxylic compounds, and ethanoic acid is represented as C3COOH, right? Now, the common name of ethanoic acid is acetic acid, and you must be remembering this thing. This is being released by some organisms, right? This is a weak acid, and if you just say, you must have eaten those pink onions, right? Vinegar onions. So 5 to 8% of this, 5 to 8% of acetic acid in water, right? That forms vinegar. It's a weak acid because organic acids are weak in nature because they don't dissociate properly. So they're going to dissociate. Some molecules will dissociate, some will not. So they'll have ions as well as molecules in them. Okay. But yes, this vinegar is being used as a preservative, right? Now, melting point of ethanoic acid is just around 290 Kelvin. So what happens during winters, it tends to freeze, right? It is just 290. So this is its, you can say, the melting point. So what happens? We call it to be as glacial acetic acid. Okay. So sometimes this question may come, why the ethanoic acid is termed as glacial acetic acid, and what you have to write, the melting point or the freezing point of ethanoic acid is very less. It's around 290 Kelvin. So it tends to freeze during the winter season, right? So they're carboxylic acid. Now, naturally, they are weak acids. As I told you, pH will be less than 7. That is because they are acidic in nature. Now, what would be the chemical behavior of ethanoic acid? Number one will be a very important reaction, which is your esterification reaction, right? There is formation of ester. Okay. And now for this, first of all, what happens? Carboxylic acid, when reacts with any alcohol, right? In the presence of hot and concentrated H2SO4, right? It is going to form ester along with a molecule of water is released, right? Here again, the function of this hot and concentrated sulfuric acid is that it is acting as a dehydrating agent, right? Dehydrating agent, right? Now, this was the basic reaction. Now we are going to write down the pinpoint reaction, which is we're going to pick ethanoic acid because we are actually studying the properties of ethanoic acid. So it is CH3COOH, right? And it is going to react with ethanol, which is CH3C2O5 in the presence of acid. Actually, it is a reversible reaction. So I'm going to write it like this. So what I'm going to get, it is like this, right? Here, this hydrogen along with this OH ion, they tend to move apart and form molecule of water. Okay, and hence an ester is formed. Now this compound, this is an ester and it has got a very fruity smell. Okay, fruity smell, right? And even this reaction, it is important in the manufacture of soap. So sometimes it is also known as saponification. Okay, right. The next will be when it is going to react with the base. So you have taken the screenshot. Should I remove this?
Let's take it.
Yeah. But you have to write it down also because science, when you listen, then though it seems to be very easy. But when you attempt the questions, then actual science comes into being because we are lost that what we have to write actually. You don't remember, right? The reactions need to be written and only then they can be learned, right? Okay, now when it is going to react with the base is something having OH group, right? Like we are going to pick NaOH. So CH3COOH. So this is reaction with a base plus NaOH. So as you can see, I'm going to use this hydrogen and this OH to form my water molecule, right? Got it? So plus water molecule though will be there. Now what will be the compound which is being formed along with this? So this will be CH3COONA, right? Do you remember this? This is not the same, right? This is sodium acetate. Okay. This is sodium acetate, right? Now, the next reaction will be your reaction with carbonates and bicarbonates. Okay, whenever this word comes, carbonates or bicarbonates, so I know for sure that CO2 will be released, water will be released, right? So now the third reaction will be reaction with, we will do first carbonates. So like CH3COOH plus Na2CO3. This is sodium carbonate, right? So what is going to form? See, two things I told you. One is CO2, one is water. So this OH and this CO3, they are sufficient to form these two compounds, right? Got it now? So what I'm gonna get? It will be CH3COONA. Sodium acetate is again formed and along with release of hydrogen, carbon dioxide and water. Got it? Right? If I talk about the bicarbonate, it will be the same, right? The products formed will be the same. So reaction with bicarbonates or hydrogen carbonates. So we'll just pick up. It will be CH3COOH. Oh, just a second. Yeah. Along with NaHCO3, which is your sodium bicarbonate. Now this is going to form CH3COONA plus CO2 plus water, right? Got it now? So this is very simple. So this you have to remember. Is that clear? There were some, I'm just going to revise the ethanoic acid. First reaction it showed us was esterification. Then we did a reaction with the base. Then we talked about the reaction with carbonates and bicarbonates. Is that clear? Right? Okay.